What up, YouTube Live? Whoop! How's it going, everybody? Um, Today is Saturday morning, February 23rd, 2019. That means tomorrow, February 24th, is the Oscars Sunday 2019. Oh my God, it's going to be huge. It's going to be big. You get the idea. But before we get to tomorrow, and you know what? I'm going to be back also. I'm going to be back this later this afternoon to give you my Oscars predictions. Um, I don't know what time yet, but stay tuned. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel. So you can see my pretty sexy face this afternoon, giving you my predictions of which movies and which actors and which talents, from the categories that will win tomorrow's big Oscar statuettes. Okay. All right. So I want to give you my live stream review right now of Doom Patrol Season 1, New Episode 2, titled Donkey Patrol. Sorry, it's a bit cold out here in Southern California. I love this show. Now, heads up, with just like with all my episode recaps and TV reviews, um, this too contains spoilers. So you've been warned. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I will be spilling some spoilers in this video. Okay, last week, as a quick refresher here, last week ended with this vortex portal that kind of opened up in the middle of that small town USA, Cloverton. And we see our heroes, Crazy Jane, Robot Man, Larry Trainer, aka Negative Man, and Rita Farr. Pretty much they're standing in front of that vortex that kind of sucks in everybody, all the town. And it's because of Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody is the lead villain, played by one of my favorite actors. I've interviewed him a couple of times, I think. His name is Alan Tudyk, and he's also Disney's Charm. He's voiced a lot of characters in various Disney movies. So, and he's also an alum of Firefly and Serenity. So, that you gotta mention that. That's what happened by the end of that episode last week. Now we get to episode 2. Let me give you a context before I give you my thoughts, because right now and my brain is all jumbled up right now. But I want to organize it to help you guys track where I'm heading here. The town, I mean, the vortex doesn't only just suck in the town, but also suck in the bus in which the chief, Niles Cauldron, is in with Negative Man. And then right after that, Crazy Jane also jumps in because she cares about Chief. She wants to help Chief. Like, oh my God, the vortex takes our leader. So she jumps in, but Robot Man holds Rita and Negative Man behind. And then this donkey shows up, and this is remember there was a donkey, right, last week episode that kind of farted. And we knew that was the work of Mr. Nobody. And so the donkey spits out Crazy Jane. Like, wah! But I kind of jump ahead a little bit here because before the donkey spits out Crazy Jane, we are also introduced to Cyborg. Now, Cyborg is, as you know, is a part of the Justice League, but this is a different kind of Cyborg. It's like a kid-sized Cyborg. Not to offend him, okay? I'm just saying that he's not like Ray Wise in the Justice League movie, right? Ray Wise is like massive, towering size, and the guy's like full of muscle bound. This is like a teenage Cyborg, man. I know that Cyborg's supposedly a teenager, like he's a high school footballer, but this is really, really like high school size. And again, I'm not trying to demean him, but the episode has an interesting way to give you his backstory. We DC fans are very familiar with Victor Stone and how he became Cyborg. But Doom Patrol kind of gives you the fun size version of that backstory. Maybe fun size is the wrong way to say it, because it kind of gets graphic and brutally violent as well. Uh, I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe a condensed. There you go, a condensed version, not a fun size version. So condensed version, because I think the writers know that we gotta keep, you know, moving forward here with the show. We can't spend another episode on just Victor Stone. We can't dedicate this just on Victor Stone. We gotta keep the ball rolling. So I totally get that. Now, one of the things I have on my notes here, and I want to point this out because I love this aspect about this show, in that Mr. Nobody breaks the fourth wall. Now, I've mentioned to you that I did not grow up reading Doom Patrol comic books. So um, I'm not familiar with the characters or their stories until now. So I'm taking this show, pretty much fresh, coming in very new here. I'm learning as I go. Sometimes I go to DC Wiki to find out some more information. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know if in the comic books Mr. Nobody also breaks the fourth wall, but on this show he does. He kind of speaks to the audience, he narrates, and he would make fun of the episode like a lot. And I think at one point in this episode, because he's trying to tell the audience, okay, this is what happened last week, and this is what happens right now currently. And Niles, aka Chief, played by Timothy Dalton, uh, asks Mr. Nobody at one point, "Is like, who are you? Who are you talking to?" And then Mr. Nobody, looking all chopped up, played by Alan Tudyk, he says something along the lines like, he tells Chief who he is addressing. Um, and one of the people that he's addressing, he says something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing here, DC subscribers, because because DC Universe that the show is on is a streaming service, digital streaming service by DC. So I find that to be absolutely hilarious that that he is aware that we're watching him. One of the many appeals of Doom Patrol. Again, I don't know if Mr. Nobody does that in the comic books, but I like that he does that here. And it reminds me a lot of Deadpool. The whole breaking the fourth wall. It's like if Deadpool gone rogue or gone villainous, he'd be like Mr. Nobody, basically, because Mr. Nobody has that same snarky, sarcastic, approach to breaking the fourth wall. Very pessimistic and very villainous, definitely, for sure. Okay, another thing I have on my note, before we get to talk about the other two things, which is Cyborg and the relationship between Crazy Jane and Robot Man. I want to tackle this one first. There's a part in this episode where Negative Man, Rita Farr, and Cyborg enter the donkey, because the donkey is a portal itself. Like, they actually suck it. And by the way, that whole process with Rita entering first as a blob, that cracked me up, because minutes before that, Rita is so hesitant. He's so not only reluctant, she's so defensive about it. Like, whoa, what are you gonna, like, turn me into a blob and get a plastic bag and throw me down a bucket, into his throat? Like, so in her anger, she basically describes to Negative Man and Cyborg how it could be done, how they could, like, throw her down into the donkey's throat. It's a great scene, and I love watching April Bowlby, who plays Rita Farr, in that moment. April Bowlby is such an underrated actress. Again, I'm so glad she finally gets her meaty role with this one, and I think she's knocking it out of the park. And what a delight! What a delight just watching her. Um, so they enter this realm, if you will, and that's when Mr. Nobody starts messing with their heads. Mr. Nobody starts, kind of like transports each of them to their past lives with Rita and Golden Age Hollywood, right? She becomes a star again on the movie set. And Larry Trainer, he finds himself on a jet plane again, flying thousands of feet up in the air. And with Cyborg, he finds himself r- right after the explosion, and when his body is shattered to pieces, um before he became a cyborg. So that's where he's transported to, and that's when I said, that the whole backstory of Cyborg gets condensed. Now, I love this part of the episode. It's because I mentioned to you before 1,000 times, and you know me, that I'm a big fan of storylines that involve hallucinations, psychedelic trip, mental asylum, or like this, dreamscapes, or um, things that are not real, because it allows for the filmmakers, or in this case, the showrunners and the directors of the directors of the episodes, it allows them to get creative. It allows them to be imaginative. That their imaginations run wild. It's like, oh, because this is these are scenes in which the characters are seeing things that may or may not be there, or things that will be like, 1 second you look at that thing, it'll be one object that they're familiar with, and then the second they look away and they look back. I was like, holy crap, you know, this is something from my past and that has been haunting me. Something to that scenario, and I love that. I love that because it's full of things like dreamscapes, hallucinations, and nightmare scenes and mental asylums. They're full of surprises, they're full of twists and turns, and I love that. I love being surprised. I love um, facing things that I did not see coming a mile away, or I did not expect. And come on, that why wouldn't any audience like that? So that's the appeal of this part of the episode. um, for example, Larry Trainer would be flying, and then he looks back and he sees his wife on the, on the, because he's in the, I think he's in the front cockpit, sitting in the back. Is like, honey, why are you never home? And your son misses you. And then he looks back again, and it's his lover. Um, his secret gay lover. And Mr. Nobody messes with Larry's head. It's like, oh, you know why you love to be up in the sky. It's not because, because he said, like Larry says, like, oh yeah, because I want to be a hero. No, it's not because you want to be a hero. You want to flee. You want to go as far away possible from your secrets. From the responsibility of being a dad, or because you're not in love with your wife because you're gay or whatever. So he messes with his head, and with Rita is like, I think at one point there's a cradle with the baby crying in it. Now I don't know. Again, I haven't read the comic books of Doom Patrol, so if you have, fill me in. Let me know if I'm missing out on some details. But Mr. Nobody Mr. Nobody tells Rita, like, "Oh, I know your secret. I know your past." And there's this cradle with a baby crying in it, and I'm thinking like, "Whoa, does that mean that she had a secret baby that she gave birth to, and probably gave up because she wanted to continue being an actress. I'm just theorizing. I'm just speculating. Maybe that could be it. That she has that pain too. That, oh my God, I was a mom, but I gave her up because I can't let people find that out. Otherwise, I won't get employed as an actress. This is the golden age of Hollywood. People discriminate right back then. Hollywood looks down on. I mean, freaking Lucy's show, man. They can't even like show Lucy and Desi Arnaz in the same bed, or they have to hide the pregnancy thing. So back then in the 50s, 40s, the way they do things in Hollywood are different. And so I'm theorizing that might be Rita's secret. Now, when it comes to Cyborg, uh, Mr. Nobody messes with his head by way of guilt trip because holy crap, Cyborg is lying there, right? Not Cyborg, I'm sorry, Victor Stone. This is before he became Cyborg, lying there all bloodied up, you know, mangled, like his leg got, cut off, and his arms, are jacked up. Um, and you see burning fiery debris, and he sees across from him, lying down burning, is the body of his mom. And holy crap, dude, is it just me, or or does this episode actually show not necessarily a human body burning, but at least a shape, what could be described as a shape of a human body burning? And it's just like, it just goes to show how brazen and bold and unafraid this show or DC Universe is, this digital streaming service. They they go there, man. They go there. Just when you thought they couldn't, like, oh, they just did. They totally went there. And that got my jaw dropping a little bit because I was like, oh, um this means that DC Universe wants to play on the same level as, HBO, or Stars, um, because as brutally violent as the Punisher series is, um, I don't think they, I don't think they've even, I don't think they would even show this kind of thing, like a human body, a charred, burning body. I don't know. Maybe Punisher would. Punisher is the one that out of the Netflix Marvel shows that would dare to push the envelope. So maybe given the opportunity, they would. But we'll never know now because they canceled Punisher, son of a bitch. But DC Universe is telling you, hey, we're not gonna be like Disney Plus, the upcoming Disney streaming service that Disney is launching, because Disney Plus is trying to make everything family friendly. Even their Marvel shows, Loki, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier that they're developing, those shows are gonna be pretty much CV-14 at the most. It's not gonna go TVMA, if I use the TV ratings. Um, so Mr. O, nobody's like, hey, he puts guilt in his head, right? How can you be a hero if you can't even save your mom? If your mom is, your mom died because of you, basically. This is your origin story, and your mom died because of it. And man, so throughout that whole moment with Rita, Larry, and Victor Stone, it's like having a devil's voice, you know, um, trying to get you down, trying to discourage you, trying to dismantle you, and it got to the point where I feel like it's working. Like, oh my god, if it weren't for Larry's thing that comes inside of his, from inside his body, that electrifying thing, I don't know what to call it. Let me know if you know the name of it, of that entity. If it weren't for him, man, they would have been stuck there. But that thing kind of rescues them from Mr. Nobody. Um, but yeah, I think if I were to, I'm not a psychologist, but but if I were to analyze what happens to these three characters in this episode, um, I would call it a rude awakening. You know, in a way, it's a good thing that they go through that experience because now they can readjust their purpose. Now they can, um, yeah, readjust why they do what they do or why they feel they need to exist and continue on, you know, and because the thing is, uh, right after the chief got sucked into the portal vortex, let's call it portal vortex, um, they feel doubts. Sorry, let me just turn down the volume here. They feel doubts. Like what are we to do? We're not heroes. You know, we're just freaks. We're misfits. We can't do shit. We're not a team. And so now I think having gone through the experience of this mind game from Mr. Nobody, um, like as in shown in the by the end of this episode, they they're reevaluating what they mean. You know, they're reevaluating what they mean to each other, what they mean to themselves, and so in a way, it's a good thing that Mr. Nobody kind of messed with their heads. Um, Now, when it comes to Crazy Jane and Robot Man, I think what the writers are getting at, um, with that aspect of the episode is, you know, they're kind of juxtaposing, I guess you could, if you could call it that way, how Robot Man Cliff Steele would handle Crazy Jane, the way he would his daughter. You know, because he doesn't have connection with his daughter anymore, obviously, right? But he has memories, and it's like, oh, I never get the chance to actually interact with my daughter. You know, because I think his daughter was like a little toddler, and never actually gets to be a teenager when you know, when he interacts with her. But now I have this girl, you know, with 64 personalities, and she's a teenager, which makes it even extra nightmarish. Um, and so we get to see, I guess, in a way, Cliff Steele, um, learning how to be a father again, uh, by way of doing that to Crazy Jane. Um, and I think it's sweet. I don't know. I don't know if it works. I think it's gonna be a pretty rough road. I know in this episode it ends pretty nicely between them, um, but I think they're gonna have some more episodes or episodic dramas, if you will, between them, moving forward. This father-daughter relationship thing that the show kind of wants to give you. And so, lastly, on my note is about Victor Stone of Cyborg. Um, I'm glad that they don't show his origin story like to the details. I'm glad that they just pretty much, okay, this is what happens, you know, in the explosions. You see a glimpse of his dad working on him. Of course, it's in a part of it's part of the dreamscape. Um, and then we see flashbacks of Victor Stone hanging out with Niles, aka Chief, and that's good. At least we get to see the connection there, as to why Victor Stone feels compelled to help out Doom Patrol to find Niles. You know, it's like, okay, so now we get to see this is why, you know, he's like, oh, we gotta help Niles because he has history with him. He has history with him, and that's good. I like that the show just like, okay, here's a piece, here's a piece there, here's a piece there, here's a piece here, and without getting too details about it, maybe in the subsequent episodes we'll see more. But for this episode, it's nice. It's a nice, just the right amount, because obviously the title is Donkey Patrol, not Cyborg. So it's more about the donkey, which, by the way, also explodes like Mortal Kombat style with blood and gore everywhere. Holy shit! This is just a funny in a twisted way kind of show. The characters are so fucked up, right? And the storyline is so bizarre, and April Bowlby is so gorgeous. I, there's a lot of unexpected surprises around every corner. Um, I don't know what to expect, and now Larry is even um, uh, trying to reason with that thing inside of him, that electricity thing that doesn't want to let him leave town. Like the thing really literally like, no, you can't leave town. Larry tries a couple times, several times. So I did not see that coming. I was like, okay, we'll see if that works. We'll see if he can actually reason with that thing, with that entity. Um, but Niles is still missing, and I totally understand now why in the opening credit of the show, uh, Timothy Dalton is not listed as part of the main series regulars. It says special guest appearance by Timothy Dalton. So it seems that I'm theorizing that throughout this season one, it's going to be more about, or we're going to see more about how these five characters try to make it work among them or between them so that they can eventually rescue Niles. So we're not going to see much of Niles except for flashbacks or his interactions with Mr. Nobody. But it's gonna be about more about these five individuals, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I love Timothy Dalton, but this is it's interesting to see how Negative Man, Rita Farr, Crazy Jane, Robot Man, and Cyborg set aside their grudges, set aside their drama, set aside their egos, right? Because each of them are very egoistic people, um, and work together as a team. So I'm very curious, and I'm willing to follow that journey. I think I want to. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So that's my long rant, my review of Doom Patrol Season 1, Episode 2, titled Donkey Patrol. Ah, hee-haw, hee-haw. Love the donkey, man. Love the donkey. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, if you have seen the episode, let me know what you think. I'm curious to hear your opinions about it. And as always, subscribe to my channel. Press that like button, ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back this afternoon. Let's rock this. Oh, there's a couple of chats here I need to answer real quick. Driscoll Bro says, "You excited for Jessica Jones season 3? To me, season 2 was horrible." Driscoll, yes, I'm excited for Jessica Jones season 3. I'm sad that it's going to be the final one, right? Because they announced that they've canceled Jessica Jones, but they're still going to air season 3. So, and I think I hope that season 3, they by the end of it, by episode 13, it's not a cliffhanger that they actually tie it up on a bow, right? On a bow knot, and just kind of like, hey, here's the ending to the whole series. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. So Driscoll Bros also asks, do you watch Gotham? Yes, I do watch Gotham, and I'm glad that the show is ending. I think Gotham's storyline has gone downhill since season 3, I want to say. So it's about time, man. I've watched this current final season of Gotham, and it's just terrible. Very poorly written, and now they have this freaking Riddler having amnesia or losing his memories. Like, oh, just enough. And Jeremiah keeps coming back again. It's like nobody ever stays dead in Gotham, and it just frustrates me. I get it. Sometimes resurrections happen in shows, but it happens way too often in Gotham that it just got too ridiculous for me to handle. So just wrap it up. Just wrap it up, Gotham. Your time has come and gone. And so yeah, it was good while it lasted. I'm glad that it's ending. So thank you, Driscoll Bros, for asking on the chat. And thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back this afternoon with my Oscars predictions. Let's rock this.